What's up, YouTube? This is Carrie with Side Trippin' with Carrie, and today we are going to visit first an icon of Phoenix architecture, which is the Capstone Cathedral. It's iconic. It was built in 1968 by the good Reverend Neal Frisby, who we're going to profile, and we're going to go out and visit his grave at Paradise Valley Memorial Gardens here after this visit to the Capstone Cathedral. Okay, there's the Capstone Cathedral, so named because of that capstone at the top. You know, I hate saying this in all of my videos, but this place has seen better days. Like I said, it was built in 1968, and as you can see, there's a ton of development around here. But believe me when I tell you that back in the late 60s, 70s, and up through the early part of the 80s, when I grew up, man, there was nothing out here. I mean, literally nothing. It was desert. And this was like the only thing that you would see for miles around was the cathedral. And it was commissioned and built by a guy by the name of Neal Frisby. He was born in 1933, died here in Phoenix in 2005. Very interesting guy. He was actually from California, and Paso Robles, I believe, which is in like the Central Valley. I don't think it's that far from Fresno, but we'll just take a walk around while I talk. He came to the ministry kind of in a different kind of way. Well, I guess it's not that different. If you're really into Christianity, it kind of reminded me a little bit of the whole Paul-Saul saga. But he had this kind of revelation. God talked to him. He used to be a barber and used to drink a lot as a young man, and he left that behind. I want to say it was after his first wife passed away very young in the 50s, after giving birth to two of his children. I think she had postpartum depression because she actually committed suicide, and she was still in her teens. Very tragic story. You can visit her final resting place. If you go to find a grave, it's been updated. Reverend Frisby, or Brother Frisby as they used to call him, got the calling. He traveled around for a while doing revivals in these big tents, and then one day he had another revelation from God, and God told him to go to Phoenix. And when he came here, he really started as a fairly successful, not fairly, it was actually a very successful ministry, and reached as far as Los Angeles. He would bus people in to come here, and finally had enough money to commission and build this cathedral. And it's unique, and it's, like I said, it's an icon of Phoenix architecture. And maybe I'll do a series on icons of Phoenix architecture. If something you guys would be interested in, let me know, because believe me, there's plenty of stuff around the valley that's iconic architectural wise. So Reverend Frisby started that ministry, and I can remember he was on TV starting in 1980. He was on TV quite a bit, Sunday mornings, where he would be preaching from here. And he was always, I remember his advertisements in the Arizona Republic. You would always see his picture and his face, and telling you to come on down to Capstone. And again, it was pretty far-reaching. I guess when satellite TV kind of expanded, he went worldwide. I mean, he had followers in Nigeria, some of whom came to Phoenix. There's a very, very good article about kind of the end of Capstone Cathedral as a cathedral, written by the New Times, the Phoenix New Times, kind of an alternative newspaper in 2006. And it's still up, and I'll put a link to it, but it's really, really interesting. Brother Frisbee, when he started out, he was really into like the whole faith healing, you know, and he put his hands on people and heal them and all that good stuff. And you know, there's a story in there about his oldest son from his first wife moved to Phoenix and was kind of rough and tumble, got in a bar fight, and must have got his neck really severely injured. The doctors told him he wouldn't walk again, and Neal came down and put his hands on him. Next thing you know, he healed up, walked and talked, and everything was fine. But Neal was our brother Frisbee, as they call him, did the laying of the hands, a lot of this Pentecostal church stuff. And man, my favorite minister was a guy by the name of, like, if you want to call it, I don't know, kind of an entertainment almost, was Reverend Ike. And God, when I was a kid, I was in the Boy Scouts, and we would go on these like camping trips way up in the mountains where you could get really good radio reception. And I had a radio that had AM, FM, and shortwave band. And you could pick up, when you were way up in the mountains, you could pick up this station from San Diego. Actually, it was from Tijuana. It was on the other side of San Diego, or other side of San Ysidro, I should say, California. And they didn't have, you know, the FCC to worry about, so they would blast this station. I can't remember the name of it, but you could pick it up. And I remember they had Wolfman Jack, and then they also had Reverend Ike, who I thought for years was from California. But he was like a New York-based preacher. And man, he was hilarious, because he would, I mean, unintentionally hilarious. He would do these things where he'd tell you if you were, you know, like if you had a broken arm, to lay it on the radio, and he would say a prayer, and he would heal you. The power from his voice through the radio and the warmth would heal what ails you. And yeah, Reverend Ike was iconic, because he even made his way into a Funkadelic song where they talked about it. I'll put the link up to the YouTube video, and if you guys listen to it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So I just learned that not too long ago that the Capstone Cathedral is no longer a church. Right before Brother Frisbee died, he kind of inexplicably gave this church, this cathedral, the property surrounding it, to an ex-NFL receiver who was starting out his ministry named Robert Brooks. And, you know, but he had like three sons and a daughter that were still living, and he didn't give them anything, or he certainly didn't give them this property. And I was thinking about it from a legal perspective, and, you know, these kind of issues come up sometimes where the family, you know, somebody gets cut out of a will and they contest it, and they say the person wasn't of sound mind. Problem in Brother Frisbee's case is he had a history of making kind of, you know, I'm not trying to disparage the guy, but he'd make just these oddball decisions that seemingly made no sense. but were directed by a higher power. So, you know, I don't know, but this property and this land is so expensive. If I were advising the children of Brother Frisbee, I'd say, you know what, I think it's worth a shot, because what they could gain would far outweigh the expense of bringing the case, if they win. I mean, it's a gamble. And, suffice to say, it was just a really odd decision to do that. So nowadays, the cathedral, they turned it into a gym. And it's actually not a bad gym. It's 4,000 seats. That's not bad for a gym. It was like a volleyball, kind of a volleyball training center, but now it looks like it's basketball. So, that's cool. Your kids play basketball, you come down here and check it out, I guess, if you can make out that flapping sign. So, anyway, hope you enjoyed a peek here at Capstone Cathedral. And next stop's going to be Brother Frisbee and his second wife's final resting place at Paradise Valley Memorial Gardens. So we are at Paradise Memorial Gardens here in Scottsdale, Arizona, 9300 East Shea Boulevard. And we are visiting the final resting place of the Reverend Neal Frisby and his wife Margaret. So I added the GPS information for the Frisbees, specifically Reverend Frisbee, as the information was way off. I mean, they had him buried unknown, and they didn't even have his wife listed with him. So I'm going to correct that too in Find a Grave. So you guys will be able to visit if you'd like. Yeah, Neal was a pretty unique individual, as we talked about. And so, I don't know, I remember the guy, I remember his ads in the newspaper, but heck, I never went to his church. Really, I didn't know anybody that did, but I know it was popular, and I remember him being on TV, like kind of on the local channels, late Saturday night, early Sunday morning type thing, like maybe when I was waiting for the cartoons. But just briefly, here at Paradise, I'm gonna go to the mausoleum. It's pretty neat in here. And we'll just kind of reverentially and quietly take a look, kind of Lamont at Large style. I will say that this is kind of a newer installment over here, and as they say, this is no plug, but there's plenty of space, so come on down, I guess, if you're so inclined and you need some space. But it's nice, quiet, well-kept cemetery, and they got these outdoor niches. And that's gonna be it, fellas, or guys and gals, I should say. Please, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you like the content, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.